Resident Evil 4 Remake story hasn't been shortened following fan feedback. About this game. Survival is just the beginning. 6 years have passed since the biological disaster in Raccoon City. Agent Leon S. Kennedy, one of the survivors of the incident, has been sent to rescue the president's kidnapped daughter. He tracks her to a secluded European village, where there is something terribly wrong with the locals. And the curtain rises on this story of daring rescue and grueling horror where life and death, terror and catharsis intersect. Featuring modernized gameplay, a reimagined storyline, and vividly detailed graphics. Resident Evil 4 marks the rebirth of an industry juggernaut. Relive the nightmare that revolutionized survival horror. Yoshiaki Hirabayashi, producer of the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake, has spoken to PC Gamer in a recent interview about fan concerns regarding cut content that wouldn't make it into the remake, but reassured players the remake will have the same length as the original, without any changes or cut corners. The issue was brought to light due to the negative feedback following the release of the Resident Evil 3 remake, which many believe to be a watered-down version of its original counterpart. It lacked a number of enemies, such as the giant spiders and the Gravedigger boss fight, and also tampered with Nemesis forms. Various locations were also removed from the remake, such as the iconic clock tower, the park, the graveyard, and many other important areas. The live selections choice system, which gave players a sense of freedom and choice about the encounters and ending outcomes, was scrapped entirely as well. When we started production on RE4, we looked into what people thought was good in the RE2 and RE3 remakes, and what could have been done better. One example is the playtime for RE4 is about the same as the original game. Yoshiaki Hirabayashi. Capcom's new policy is to give more to the players, as we have seen from the latest extended gameplay showcase. Some significant revamps to the original include more versatility in movements and adding the ability to dodge, crouch, and parry attacks, as well as exchange collectibles for items. Thankfully, nothing was added at the expense of any original features. Players will still get to immerse in the genre-defining survival experience by managing their scarce resources and limited inventory along the way. The story of Resident Evil 4 was certainly more linear than its predecessor, so it would be hard to tamper with it, but still, the puzzles and set pieces in each location are considered an important part of the story by many fans, and a big portion of the 15 estimated play hours taken by players to beat the game. As producer Hirabayashi said, it's very important to preserve the length of the entire campaign. His words still contain vagueness to them about how he will keep the length while enhancing the protagonist's movement speed and fighting capabilities, which could shorten the playtime drastically, but we will have to wait and see exactly how the remake turns out. Resident Evil 4 Remake PC requirements. Minimum. Requires a 64-bit processor and operating system. OS, Windows 10, 64-bit. Processor, AMD Ryzen 3 1200/Intel Core i5-7500. Memory, 8GB RAM. Graphics, AMD Radeon RX 560 with 4GB VRAM/NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 with 4GB VRAM. DirectX, version 12. Network, broadband internet connection. Additional notes, estimated performance, when set to prioritize performance, 1080p/60 fps. Frame rate might drop in graphics-intensive scenes. AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT or NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 required to support ray tracing. Recommended. Requires a 64-bit processor and operating system. OS, Windows 10, 64-bit. Processor, AMD Ryzen 5 3600/Intel Core i7-8700. Memory, 16GB RAM. Graphics, AMD Radeon RX 5700/NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070. DirectX, version 12. Network, broadband internet connection. Additional notes, estimated performance, 1080p/60 fps frame rate might drop in graphics-intensive scenes. AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT or NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 required to support ray tracing. Resident Evil 4 Remake is set to release on March 24, 2023, for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.